what was the last thing that you saw in Raw and AEW that piqued your interest, and what are your comments on each when you saw it?
I really liked the Becky Lynch Charlotte. I don't even want to call it a storyline. It was just more of a short-lived angle, but I liked it, man. It was one of the few things that has been in wrestling in a long time where I wasn't sure if that was like carefully crafted or if it was a shoot, and I like that. I like not knowing.
Right. And AEW, anything that you saw that piqued your interest that you watched, and what was your comment on the execution of it?
I've dropped in on a couple of the matches as of late. I like watching, Daniel Bryan work. So I've dropped in a couple of his bigger matches just because I like to watch him work. But there's no storyline. There's no meat on the bone other than the actual art of what we see in the ring. So just nothing really catches my attention. I dig MJF, man. I think I'll always make time to drop in on him if I've got the time. Just because I think he's a fantastic heel and he's really into his character. Or I'm not even sure it's his character, brother. I think it's really his personality.
Right, yeah.
But I dig him for it, man. He's got balls. He's doing that people don't normally feel comfortable doing, and he's consistent. He's very, very consistent in his character.
Well, that's the thing. Like you echo. You sound like me. Like we're older.
Oh,
but I'm going to say, like, there's things like we like what we like, and the thing about us is, and this is what I think is fascinating, is that the pundits, the wrestling media guys right now, right? These guys watch the show. I've been watching the shows start to finish for like 30 years every week. It's never gotten bad enough for them to say, I'm not watching anymore. Which, like, all of us in this room right here, this thing have felt that experience. So when people ask us, like, hey, do you watch wrestling? No. It's like, why not? Because there's nothing really interesting to me. And there's a lot of people like us, but they still keep feeding the echo chamber of the stuff that they like. And, like, guys like us, just like gradually we stopped watching. Like we were watching it, we were interested, then it got less interesting over the course of a few months, and you find yourself binge watching the highlight reels, stuff like a YouTube clip, and you're not really. And but the thing is, you're still a wrestling fan, but you're not watching the shows, So it's like, and it's funny because we still talk about it, and it was like we talk about why we're not watching the shows, which is kind of like a discussion that like more people in the business need to hear. Of like, what? Okay, where are the people that aren't watching more? Well, why are they not watching? And like we talk about it, and it's like we're speaking a different language than the people that are like in the business right now, like what they're feeding and the fans that they're drawing.
Well, there's a lot there to talk about, but I think, for example, when all of the hype, and I was part of it, man. I was excited about Punk coming in and Daniel Bryan coming in and Christian coming in. I'm talking specifically about AEW right now. And I was really looking forward. When they made the big move to Arthur Ashe Stadium, it was like, okay, man, now we're here. This is starting to feel real again, starting to feel good again. The energy was right. The vibe was cool. And then nothing. After a couple of those big events, it was kind of like, there's no story. There's no journey. There's no art. There's no compelling reason to watch. And I'm listening to some of the people who talk, people in the industry who are, speaking out on social media all the time and trying to pretend that everything is great. I'm thinking, wait a minute, man. CM Punk, they made the big announcement. They did a decent job building him up. And, their first Friday night show, what do they have, like
1.1 million or something like that? Yeah.
Okay. And now they're down to 500,000. Right. Well, there's 500,000 people that went, okay, I'm going to check it out. And they went, nah, f*** it. It's like us. It's like, I'm going to check it out. No, I'm not. And the same thing happened to WWE when they launched SmackDown. I was there, the premiere show. 3.8 or 3.9 million viewers. Now they're down to 2 million. Well, where do those 2 million people go? Why did they decide not to stay? Are those people like us? Are they that mainstream peripheral audience now that wants to like wrestling, but they're just not getting anything? And I think wrestling has now gone from characters and storyline to exhibition matches. And people,
performance art, judging the art.
And I used to refer to it as the internet wrestling community. I think shows are being booked now more for AEW than WWE. They're being booked for the dirt sheet wrestling community. Everything is about stars. How many stars a match gets? Nobody talks. There's like 4-star matches and 2-star stories. Yeah. Give me 3-star matches and give me 2-star matches and 2-star stories. I'm back.
Yeah.
But as long as the emphasis is on the athleticism in the ring at the expense of characters and story, yeah, you just can't hold my attention. And I think more people are like that than anybody that's currently in the business wants to recognize.
And going back to the Punk thing, I don't think they ever got down to 500. I think they got to 800, but they went
they did
down.
Get down. Rampage went down to 500.
Yeah, Rampage, but not Dynamite.
No,
but Rampage broke 1 million with the Punk debut. I think
did
it?
Yeah, it was on Rampage. My bad. You're right. Yep. And so, and the big mistake was it was an easy fix. I mean, he comes in, right? And who was the first guy he wrestled? Daniel Garcia or something.
There you go.
Yeah. Right. So like you say that you watch MMA, right? So imagine if Khabib came back and they put him against Joe Schmo. It's like, what the did you bring him back for? If he's coming back, he's going against, some, you know what I'm saying? Against Oliveira or whoever is the champion at that moment. And then after that, it's like when Sting came back. Did you see when Sting came back? They had the rain and all that, and he didn't say shit. And Disco was kind of mad. I go, well, give him another week. Maybe, next week. This was, he came out. Next week he didn't do shit. The next week he didn't do shit. And it's like, wow, really? That's how you brought Sting back? I mean, you know what I'm saying? What have they really done with him?
And I think that's part of the, dirt sheet community booking that's going on. Is I'm guessing now, I'm not there obviously, but I think there's this feeling like Punk is so over, let's use him to elevate some of the younger talent.
Right.
Well, he ain't even elevated anymore. You can't use a guy to elevate other talent if that guy isn't really the star that you think he is. And I don't know, man. It's just, again, I don't mean to sound like I'm beating up on them all the time, because if it's working for them and they're happy and the network's happy and they're making money, God bless them. My opinion doesn't mean.
No, man, look, here's the thing, because everybody is so sensitive that they might hurt somebody's feeling. We just each other all the time. But here we go. The real truth is this. It could be a better show. Yeah, he's got 4 shows on TV. He's one of the highest rated shows. Of course he's successful. I went to Long Island, the whatever show they had in Long Island a couple weeks ago, and the place was packed, and they were selling merchandise up to Yin Yang. They're making money. But if your show can be better, make it better. And if people are telling you that, then listen, don't get mad or deny it. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're saying. Yo, what up? This is Conan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!